Hello YouTube. This video is going to be about the drug Mirtazapine or Remeron. Basically what it is, it's an antidepressant, but it's not a SSRI like your more common antidepressants like Celexa, Lexapro, Prozac, things like that. Basically, Mirtazapine has a different mechanic because the reason I'm on it is because when I take if they put me on an SSRI, I go off the walls. I go absolutely bat crazy. It throws me so much the other way that it's just, I can't take those. So what mirtazapine does is it has a different way it functions. That it doesn't throw you manic. If you have something like schizoaffective disorder or bipolar disorder, something along, illnesses along those lines. I take actually 30 milligrams every night before I go to sleep. Mirtazapine is also used off-label to help insomnia. It's used at times to help fight anorexia or help anorexics. It can be used not quite as often, but it can be used to aid during detox from other drugs because of its sedating effect. Mirtazapine, again, it's a very sedating drug, and it also gives you the munchies worse than you can ever imagine. I mean, worse than if you've ever smoked marijuana. It gives you the munchies 10 times as bad as the best pot you've ever smoked. And it's almost like an uncontrolled urge. You just want to eat carbohydrates and sugar and just go nuts. So usually it's like a race between when I take it at night. I take it along with 800 milligrams of Seroquel and also some other sedatives. So yeah, I usually go out before I get the munchies. You got about 45 minutes to an hour before the munchies kick in, and usually about the same time before the sedation kicks in. So it's kind of a race to see what's going to happen first. And what else does mirtazapine do? It's kind of an odd drug because you would think with the dosages, since it has a sedating effect, you would think that as the dosage goes up, the more sedating it would be. But in fact, it's just the opposite. Yeah, that's what my psychiatrist tells me when I'm having trouble sleeping, to cut back to 15 milligrams of mirtazapine as opposed to 30, because it will have even more sedating effect. My mother, for example, since she had her heart attack, she had lost a lot of weight. She had lost like 65 pounds because she was sick for quite a while before she finally went to the hospital, and they realized that she had 2 heart attacks and her heart stopped and all the shenanigans we had to go through there. But she had no appetite after they got her, back on the road to recovering. You got to eat to get your strength back and stuff, especially when you go through what she went through. I mean, she was dead twice, and spent a week in a medically induced coma and everything else, and you got to eat, to get your strength back and get your electrolytes and all your body's functions back in balance. And she had no appetite; she wouldn't eat, so her doctor prescribed it to her 7 milligrams or 7.5 milligrams, I think, every night, so that hopefully it would stimulate her appetite and she would eat. And now she eats like a beast, man. But so it does work. They've talked about actually taking her off it, but she doesn't want to come off it because she's afraid she's not going to be able to sleep. But it's a good drug. I like it. I have no complaints about it. Other than, like I said, the munchies. That combined with the Seroquel, like I said, I've gained 100 pounds in the last, probably in the last 9 months, I've gained about 100 pounds. So that's not a good thing. I've had to go on a cholesterol drug. I've been on blood pressure medicine since I was in my 20s, but I'm sure type 2 diabetes is right around the corner, and that's definitely, that's very common in people who are on psychotropic medications. Mirtazapine also, you don't want to ingest any alcohol when you're taking it. Same with Seroquel. I didn't mention this in the Seroquel video, but you want to avoid alcohol because the intoxicating effects will be greatly increased, and the side effects of the drug will be greatly increased. So you'll get drunk a lot faster, and you'll feel exaggerated side effects of the drugs. There'll be a lot more sedation. There'll be a lot more strange stuff that happens, so you want to avoid alcohol altogether. I don't use any drugs or drink other than my prescriptions anymore. I am a recovering addict, though, so I have had my issues. I'll probably do a video on addiction sometime this week and talk a little bit more about my backstory, but just know that I've been through some trying times throughout the years. But again, let's see what else we can say about Mirtazapine. Fortunately, it's a cheap drug too. It's not expensive. If your insurance doesn't cover it, or if you have insurance and it does cover it, there's not a high copay. Fortunately, most of your psychotropic drugs aren't very expensive, which is kind of weird when you think these drugs change the function of your brain and the makeup of your brain, but yet they're so cheap. And opiates, which cost next to nothing to make, are basically heroin in a pill. It costs so much money. It's just outrageous. It makes no sense at all to me, but that's a story for another day. Like I said, since I've been on the Mirtazapine, I haven't really had a depressive episode. Like I said, I have cycled and I do swing the other way now, more to the manic side, but I don't think the Mirtazapine has anything to do with that. Neither does my doctor. He thinks it's just the way that my brain is kind of evolving. I think it's really almost about it. There's not all that much to say about Mirtazapine. It's pretty straightforward. I think that's about it. I'm going to do another video either tonight or tomorrow morning on benzodiazepines, since I am on 3 benzodiazepines. Even though I am an addict, which is kind of it's a fine line to walk. Even my psychiatrist and I put a lot of discussion into and a lot of thought and a lot of he put a lot of faith in me when he put me back on them, because they took me off them for a while because I had a relapse a couple years ago and got pretty bad off for a couple months, so he pulled me off the benzos and cut me way back. He didn't pull me right off because he didn't want me to detox, but he cut me back to just 2 milligrams of Klonopin a day, and that was fine. It's kind of odd because these benzodiazepines are so commonly abused, and they have such a high abuse factor to them, and they're so dangerous when they're abused. But I have no real urge to abuse them. They just, I don't know. And Ativan, Xanax, and Klonopin, I have no urge to sit down and take a handful of Xanax and melt them to the couch or anything. I think that's, like I said, I'm just kind of the opposite now, and plus I have a lot of things going on in my life, so I don't really have time to I have commitments and responsibilities to people, so I don't really have time to sit and melt into the couch. I have to be awake and functioning and on top of my game too. What I do, I can't there's no room for mistakes. I make a mistake, it could cost me 20 years, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So anyway, I think I'll wrap this up now. That's it on Mirtazapine. Good drug, like I said, overall. Happy with it. Good results. Not many side effects other than the munchies and the sedation. But it's nice because it actually, I mentioned in my Circle video, sometimes I get restless legs or akathisia. And the Mirtazapine will also help with that. So it's good in that way. But I think that about sums it up. Like I said, I think tonight I'm going to do another video on benzos, just to, that one will probably be a little bit longer because they're a little bit more involved and a lot more dangerous. People aren't taking Mirtazapine for kicks, but anyway, that sums it up. Thanks for watching. Again, remember to subscribe and give the video a like. Any comments, criticisms, feel free to put them in the comments section. Like I said, let's try and keep it constructive. To be a jerko doesn't benefit anybody. You want to go troll somewhere else. Go to 4chan. That's where all us trolls hang out. Anyway, again, thanks. And if you, again, as I said in all my videos, if you are suffering from symptoms of mental illness or suicidal thoughts or ideations or anything like that, please get help. Please see a doctor. Talk to a therapist. Talk to a social worker. Please, there's help out there. Don't struggle alone. Don't do anything rash or stupid. Life is precious. Hold on to it. Live it to its fullest. Alright, I think that's it for this video, and I will see you when I see you. Shrug out.